Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the exciting club meeting that is currently being held by Orihime and Honoka of the Astronomy Club of Meiko Academy. Well, in other words, it's episode 8 of A Sky Full of Stars, and right now Akito is in a meeting where Orihime is trying to decide and iron out the plans to start up this magnificent Six Stars Club. So, this is supposed to be an exciting event because this is where they commence the beginning of the new Six Stars Club. But looking at Narue's face, that doesn't seem to be the case. So what happened at the end of episode 7 was that Orihime pushed a really big budget on all the clubs that attended the meeting. And I don't think Orihime understands that this is already a very tense situation, given that some of the clubs are quite happy with the way that they're running their own independent club. And being part of the Six Stars Club is just like an extra accessory to them. One of the grand proposals that Orihime wanted to start the Six Stars Club is to buy a brand new telescope with all the latest features and gizmos. Orihime and Honoka did a thorough analysis of the different telescopes and equipment that each of the astronomy clubs have, because the telescope is important for stargazing. And there's some clubs that don't even have a telescope, like Amahai, and there's some clubs that have telescopes, but they're missing parts and or not working. So this is where the new telescope comes in, so that every club is on level playing ground. But of course, that comes at a cost. And when Orihime divided the cost among the different clubs, that's where things start to fall apart. So let's see how Orihime deals with this situation. So Narue is surprised, and so is Keisuke. And so is Noriko. So Orihime is like, is there a problem? Well, obviously for the Meiko Club, there's nothing wrong because they were the ones that drafted together this budget proposal. So I understood why everyone was shocked. The prices written there went quite beyond everyone. Okay, so Honoka's like, oh, don't worry, it's okay. We'll cover the expenses from the Seisen Academy if they can't join. Well, because they can't join. But what about the other clubs? It's like, oh, so you're here, so you have to contribute a very generous amount to this new telescope acquisition project. Okay, so I don't think Orihime knows what's going on. Because maybe it's easy for the Meiko Academy to afford this budget, but what about the other schools? It looks like Orihime generously or genuinely does not know what the problem is. So the price they've written was almost equal to a full month's part-time wage. And for clubs like ours that were having issues with membership numbers, our budgets would never come close to covering an expense like that. So, because the clubs are small, they probably don't get as much funding from the school as astronomy club at the Mako Academy does. Because we know that the Mako Academy has 3 members, at least. Well, of course, to buy a really good telescope, it would cost about that much.
より高度な活動を行っていくためですのよ。そのための出費ならば仕方がありませんわ。
Okay, so I don't think Orihime still understands what's going on.
後々後輩たちに受け継がれることを考えても、中途半端なもので済ませるわけには参りません。
I don't think it's that they don't want to afford it. It's more like they don't have enough money to afford it. It's just too much. And I don't think Orihime understands that some of the clubs are receiving very little funding, or maybe the school itself is facing budget issues. So she's going on with oh, you have to pay this much if we want to have a sustainable 6-star club in the future where we can do all sorts of cool stuff.
うちは高価な望遠鏡より一人一つの双眼鏡をモットーに活動しております。
Which comes back to how we were introduced to this club meeting in episode 7.
ですので、これはちょっと。
つうか、論外っしょ。ありえない。こんなお金あったらカメラのレンズ買うっつうの。バカらしい。
So there you go. I think her school, they have telescopes that are working, and it's like I would rather use our current telescopes and improve upon them. Just new lenses, maybe a new mechanism to have better adjustment, or maybe some upgrade features. But having a brand new telescope is way too much for her and the school. So the president from Nishi High stood up, waving the paper in disgust as she spoke.
悪いけど、うちら抜けさせてもらうわ。
Okay, I'm backing out.
金額にご不満なら話し合いで。
Okay, So Honoka's trying to keep her in, but it looks like she's gonna have more than convincing to basically talk about this issue. So she has a lot of work to do to try to convince Narue. So not only Narune's unhappy about the budget that she has to foot for this big new telescope, she's like, I don't like the people here, the politics here is pretty bad, and I can already see the 6 Stars Club not working out.
合同観測会とかあるなら喜んで参加するからさ。ま、今まで通り仲良くしてちょうだい。じゃあね。
Or just be a participant. That's all. Don't have you involved in any of the affairs or business matters.
自分も
So same thing with Keisuke. And I think Moromi is going to... Oh, so Moromi's president stood up sadly.
待ってちょうだい。これは天文の発展とこれから天文の道を志す後輩たちのために必要なことなのよ。
Okay, so for some reason I still think Orihime doesn't know what's going on.
もし不満が終わりならせめて話し合って。
And I don't think any talk is going to make the situation any better.
うちは今の活動で満足していますので。
Well, I think we're doing fine as is, so we don't need any more help. So he leaves as well.
そんな。
So everyone's depressed. And it's only been 30 minutes since the meeting started. So everyone was starting in silent shock, as if they couldn't understand what had happened. So left behind, I thought to myself, I've waited way too long. So I missed my chance to say I wasn't going to join. So now we have a bigger problem to deal with. We have to get Orihime to understand why two clubs have backed out of the proposal. And it's not because they are not interested in doing astronomy. It's that Orihime is asking too much from them. And I don't think she really considered the financial health of all these clubs when she put together the proposal with Honoka. So even though Honoka is, Orihime is mentioning all the benefits and positives of buying this new telescope, the problem is price. And Narue, who represents one of the clubs, mentions that there's a better proposal, it's cheaper, and it's that they use the telescopes that they have and refurbish them, and they're all good to go. And Orihime kind of blew the fuse, so when she tried to stop them from leaving and come up with a counter offer where don't worry, we'll take care of the financial problems, it was too late, and these two representatives were already set on dropping out of this proposal. So now we're going to see how Akito is going to deal with the situation, even though he was planning on dropping out as well. So the sun and the moon traveled around the earth. So muttering under her breath, Orihime sat in the corner of the club room, hugging her knees and spinning the spherical astrolabe. She had been so enthusiastic, and now she was an empty shell. So she's still wondering how this proposal fell through. But don't worry, Honoka's around, and at least there's two more clubs that haven't officially backed out yet. So Noriko, her club, and Akito, his club. I was certain that she was still counting my school Hoshino Daiichi. As I thought about this, I drank the aromatic tea and ate the candied fruit Honoka had given me. I really enjoyed the sugary treats. Apparently, they had bought these items from a rarity and famous shop just for today's meeting. It was another sign of just how into all of this they were. And I wonder if Orihime actually visited the other clubs and kind of saw what was happening and maybe get an idea of the general state of all these other clubs, instead of just come up with a paper draft and hoping that everyone will agree to it. But maybe she has an idea. She put it in kind of harshly, but I felt like Narue had a point. So maybe the idea of refurbishing telescopes? Which should have made it kind of weird that I hadn't left when she did, except that I felt this weird kind of power coming from Orihime. So what is she trying to do? Or what Akito feels? I guess you could say she made me feel hopeful. Well, we only met twice, so I couldn't really say I knew her well enough, but I couldn't deny her when she said she didn't know about the real world.
今夜の官房会はどうしましょうか?
So I think they had more things planned.
官房会?
Orihime repeated the phrase as if she had just remembered something. So they had planned an observation meet, a chance to look at the skies, and to just hang out for the evening.
とてもそんな気分にはなれないわ。
I don't think she's in the mood for this now that this has happened. So Honoka nodded, like she'd known before she asked. So how does Noriko feel about this? Noriko from Ama High looked disappointed when she saw that. Okay, so what idea does she have as an alternate to the stargazing or the observation meet? Well, I bet she really been looking forward to tonight's meetup as well.
今後のことはまた仕切り直すことにして、今日のところは
Okay, we'll do it some other time. Today's not the day. But Akito's like, no, we should still do it. Maybe it'll help her relieve her depression and how things didn't go the way she wanted it to. So everyone's surprised.
ですが
But well, I mean, we're already gathered together like this, and well, the stars are only visible tonight, right? I think it's gonna be cloudy during the other days, I guess.
空見くん
Oh, Sarami-kun.
私やりたいです官房会
Okay, so Noriko wants to do it as well.
加納さん
So Narue hasn't left. So Orihime wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes.
そうですわね私たちが集まって星を見ないだなんてありえませんわ
Okay. So now Orihime feels better.
吉岡準備を
Alright, so they're gonna go ahead and do this.
会長。
So Orihime had regained her enthusiasm, and the group began their stargazing preparations. Forcing a smile on my face, I thought to myself, "Oh boy, now you've done it." So it looks like it's gonna be really hard for him to back out now. Now that he's actually pushed the plan forward. How it would be even harder to quit. So I wonder where they're going now.
今まで部活でやらなかったんですか？うち望遠鏡ありませんし、それに先輩たちも星にあまり詳しくなくて。
So Noriko is excited because her club really didn't do much, even though it's titled the Astronomy Club. And it's because 1, they don't have equipment, and 2, they don't have expertise on, or they don't have people with expertise.
その先輩たちも引退してしまった後は、ずっと一人で活動してました。
So I think that also makes it hard for them to invite new members because they can't really explain what the astronomy club is about, and that's going to confuse or disinterest people from signing up for this club. So she said this haltingly, likely thinking back on all those lonely days of solitary club activities, but a smile rose on her lips.
だからムツラボシの会のお話を聞いたとき、とても嬉しかったし、すぐに参加しますって返事をしたんですよ。そうだったんですか。そのお気持ちわかります。
So the idea that Noriko is gonna see other people who are much more interested in the astronomy club, or who have much more expertise, she was excited about it.
うちも会長がいなくなってしまったら、私一人になってしまいますから。
But you know, Orihime is about to retire from the club, so I'm gonna be alone as well.
他にも部員さんいらっしゃるんですよね。
So Orihime did mention that there's 3 other people in the club, or there's 3 members for the Meiko Academy Club.
月食など天体ショーがある時にだけ顔を出す人たちなので。
Okay, so even though they're part of the club, they're not as dedicated as Honoka or Orihime. Instead, well, they just show up during the big events, but other times they just, I'm part of it, but I don't have time to go. I have other things to do, etc.
そうなんですか。
And it's not really good to delist them from the membership because they're trying to get more members. So Orihime listened to their conversation with a complicated expression on her face, then turned to me and nodded.
さっきはありがとう。
Huh?
あなたがああして声を上げてくださらなかったら、あのまま解散してしまうところだったわ。
So at least he gave her some hope that all is not lost. Oh, no, I didn't do anything. Well, at least, he did say something that kind of brightened her up. I felt a bitter smile rise. I'd only come to tell them I wasn't joining, but just when I should have said no, I ended up encouraging the meetup. I was shocked at my own contradictory behavior.
加納さんのような境遇の方にも天文を楽しんでいただくためのむつら星の会なのに、自分の不甲斐なさに落ち込んでそれを見失うだなんて本当にダメだわ。私神野さんのおっしゃる通り。
Well, I think she was just so involved. She was all excited, and that's why she kind of put forward that telescope idea, because I want to have this nice telescope where I could see as far into space as possible, and it'll really show, or it will really attract new signups, because they'll probably be excited to use this telescope. Come on now, that's not true. You don't need to take all of this on yourself, Orihime. So if she hadn't called out to us, the meeting never would have happened. I had to admire the kind of enthusiasm that could persuade people from all these different schools to come and meet after years of silence. And now here I am, apparently getting ready to join them in stargazing. So me, the astronomer who never looks at the stars. Anyways, I've already taken the night off work. Well, I think Akito wants to avoid that lady who was criticizing his work ethics and then making all these uncomfortable comment about Akito. And he actually had her wash the desk or the shop when he saw Couture the dog. It's like, oh, I have to take my dog out a walk, so I have to take my dog out on a walk, so why don't you wash the shop for me? And then he used it to get away from her, because when he got back, he was like, oh, you're done for today. Thank you very much for your help. We'll see you again later. So I had no idea where they were planning to go stargazing, but as the only guy, I took on responsibilities like carrying heavy things and watching over the girls. So I think they're almost here. Okay, alright, so they are going to stop at the next stop, or get off at the next stop. So it happens to be in front of the Mikazuki station. So meaning it's right in front of the stop and buy. Okay, so the place that Akito works at. And he sees Couture the dog. So Kotaro noticed me immediately as I got off the bus and raised his head, ears twitching. But more and more strangers got off the bus. And now Kotaro doesn't see where Akito is. So he squirmed into his doghouse and hid. Okay, so I don't think he's comfortable with all those other passengers on the bus. So are you taking the train from here? Okay, so they'll walk up the hill, I guess. So with her phone in one hand, Noriko took the lead. So, yeah, so they will be walking up instead. I wonder why she was guiding. Well, maybe she has a smartphone and she has a really good place to do stargazing. I didn't really understand, but since Orihime seemed happy to follow her lead, I went along after. Okay, so... Are you sure that's the right way?
ええ。この先に星を見るのにちょうどいい場所があるんです。
So who says it's the perfect spot? Oh, this way. So with Noriko out in front, we walked down a country road, past a few scattered houses, and soon a large bridge-like structure appeared. I said it's still a bridge. Maybe it's wide for it's wide enough for them to do other activities, but still a bridge. It was an enormous concrete wall holding back the river. Oh, it's a dam. Oh, okay.
これを渡るみたいですね。
It looks like we can cross over here. She said, checking her smartphone map. So we crossed over the walkway on top of the dam.
これが星のダムですか。大きいですわね。
Okay, so it's a dam. Orihime said it in an astonished face, or an astonished tone. For a dam, it probably wasn't big, but when seen from up close like this, it really felt like something. Well, you know that when you look at a dam, you only see part of it. The really big chunk, the 90% of it, is all underneath the water. So if they were able to drain all the water out, you will see how massive the dam actually is.
どうかなさったの?
So what's wrong? No, not really. It just brings back some old memories. So there used to be a bridge over here. I said while pointing to a spot downriver.
橋?
Yeah. So she seemed to be waiting for more about the bridge. I didn't want to explain any further. And she just looked at me, puzzled. Pretending not to notice her gaze, I looked out over the lake formed by the dam. So orange stars were reflected off the deep blue surface of the water. I didn't want to admit it, but it was a beautiful sight. Part of the village was under that lake. Oh. So Mikazuki Village, the village where we had spent our childhood. I guess it's only home for fish now. So he probably lost his home when they when they were gonna construct like a reservoir and a dam. So everyone that was living in that area, that lowlands, they had to be relocated. And as a result, all those houses were demolished, and it became a reservoir. So on the other side of the dam, the road started to climb up the mountainside. We continued a while down the rough, broken asphalt before Noriko spoke again.
こっちです。多分。
So I wonder if she's lost. We turned away from the old road and started down a trackless path. So they've been happily following this far. Honoka and Orihime's faces start to look uneasy when... Okay, so Noriko found the place. So Noriko had led us to a wide open space on the side of the small mountain. So there were no large trees here, and the world spread out before us. Orihime looked around, her eyes sparkling with excitement, even though she should have been exhausted from the way up. Okay, so this is a good place because one, it's not affected by all those street lights, those store lights, those city lights that you get at night. So it doesn't really obstruct them when they do stargazing here. So I'll also stop here. I think this is enough for this episode. So we're gonna see what they're gonna do next and how the stargazing event is gonna go. And I do know that they've already lost 2 club representatives. So Narue and I forgot the guy's name. I think he's Keisuke. But we'll see how they do with just 4 people from 3 different clubs. With that in mind, I'll see you later.